jerseys with the red numbers on the front and back. 2-2 now the count on Eklund. The red lettering and script across the front as well. That one misses outside. Although last night under the lights, the numbers looked more orange, almost New York Met kind of orange. In the natural daylight, it looks more red. Could be just my eyes playing tricks on me, but there's ball 4, and Eklund gets on with the 2-out walk. That'll bring up Owen Jones. The right-hander will step in as these two teams arguably have been the two strongest teams throughout this tournament. Although the team from Capital District of PEI, the Charlottetown area, and the team from Yarmouth, who have also both qualified for the semifinals, might have something to say about that. Runner going. Pitch catches the inside corner. Throw down to second, not in time. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. You'll see, if this is the first game of the tournament that you're watching, you will see a lot of runners from first take second base on steals. That is a very long throw for these young catchers. That one's going to get away, and that will allow Eklund to get down to third as Doucette tried to get in front of that ball but ended up deflecting it off to the side. And the 1-2 count now on Jones. And the potential first run of the game just 70 feet away. 70-foot base paths with a 48-foot distance between the mound and home plate. 2-2 now the count. Those the standard dimensions for the 13U age group, or the Pee Wee group as it's referred to. That one over the head of left fielder Sonchins into the base of the fence, rounding and heading down to second with the double is Jones, and that does put the first run on the board. An RBI double for Owen Jones drives home Eklund, and it is 1-0. That'll bring up Tyler Wood, the left-handed hitting third baseman, standing in, facing Pelly. First pitch, a called strike. And something else to keep in mind throughout the course of this game is pitch counts and pitcher availability. You have to keep in mind you know that both of these coaching staffs know that they will have a game tomorrow, as they will be playing in a semi, and then they'll have a medal game on Sunday, whether it be bronze or gold. They'll be playing for hardware on Sunday, so they need to have their pitching staffs set up in such a way that they are prepared for both eventualities. There's a pitch fouled off, and the count to Wood goes to 1-2. So how exactly they set their pitching staffs up for that will be determined in part by how they use their pitchers here today. There's a called third strike for the third out of the inning. But not before the Chevys get the first run of the game. They get one run on one hit. There were no errors and one runner left on base. We've played half an inning. The Summerside Chevys lead the Dartmouth Arrows 1-0. Let's take you through the Arrow batting order now. Leading off, it'll be third baseman Aiden Webb. Batting second, the catcher Mitch Doucette. Batting third, the starting pitcher Jacardon Pelly. Batting in the fourth spot, it's the extra hitter Cole Monk. Batting fifth, second baseman Colby Dukoff. Batting in the fifth spot is the first baseman Eli James. 6, 7, and 8, or 7, 8, and 9 is the three outfielders. Right fielder Jacob Burgess, Carter Saunchins the left fielder, and Liam Duquette in center in order from 8 through 9, or 7 through 9, excuse me. And then batting in the 10th spot is the shortstop Jake Wombolt. Taking a look at the defensive alignment for the Summerside Chevys, the outfield from left to right, Owen Jones, Cole Eklund, and Griffin Ryan. In the infield, left side is going to be Tyler Wood at third base and Caleb Gallant at short. Right side of the infield, Tyson Wedge at second, while Zach McNeil is at first base. Behind the plate, it'll be George Gallant taking in the pitches from starting pitcher Cale Coffin. Coffin, the right-hander, getting his warm-up tosses in. And again, the strategy element, not that any team is ever not trying to win, but as far as pitching goes, how much of your pitching staff do you put towards trying to make sure you win this game as opposed to getting yourself set up for the semis tomorrow and the gold or bronze medal game, whichever it ends up being, on Sunday? So the leadoff hitter for the Arrows, Aiden Webb. The third baseman standing in. Takes a good hack at the first pitch, but fouls it off near the hands and slices it foul. 0-1 the count. After the game here this evening, we'll have one more event as part of today's festivities. And that will be the Home Run Derby, scheduled to start at 8 o'clock this evening. Here comes the 0-1. That one misses just a bit high and outside. 1-1 now the count. My understanding of how the Home Run Derby is going to work is there will be 8 participants, one from each team. There's a strike on the inside corner, 1 and 2. And each participant will get 10 pitches, 10 chances to try and launch one out of the ballpark. And it may be a bit of a daunting task with the wind continuing to blow in here. There's a grounder down to second. Wedge gets it to McNeil in time for the first out, and that'll bring up Mitch Doucette. Throughout the first, what have we had now? 7 and a bit games, because we did have 2 innings of the game. It was a bit of a weird situation last night, the game between the Chevys and the Pirates. There's a pitch on the lower inside corner, and the count goes to 0-1. They played 5 innings of that game between the Chevys and the Pirates on field 2, but that field does not have lights. And by the time they got through 5 innings, it was starting to get dark out. So everybody packed up and moved over here to this field for the 6th and 7th innings. So we had 4 games plus 2 innings yesterday. We've had 3 games and half an inning so far here today. So you put that together, 7 games and a bit. And we've only seen 2 home runs on this field through the entire 7 plus games that we've had. There's a grounder to short. It'll get through. And Doucette will get on base as Gallant not able to gather in that grounder on the left side, and that'll bring up Jacardan Pelly. And that is ruled as an error on Gallant. So Pelly, the right-handed pitcher, Stepping in to bat right-handed against his fellow right-hander on the mound. Throw over to first, and Doucette gets back in safely. But again, when we get to the home run derby tonight, because we've only had 2 home runs on this field all throughout the tournament, largely because of the prevailing winds coming in from either from left or straightaway center, it may create a bit of a challenge for tonight's participants in the home run derby. We'll have to see how that plays out. There's a hard hit ball along the ground out to right field. Doucette had to do a little dance to stay out of the way of it. Pelly dives in for the double. The ball gets away. That allows Doucette to come in to score. Pelly will stop at third. So a double for Pelly. No RBI on the play as the run comes home and he advances to third on the throwing error. And that will make it 1-1 as the Arrows respond with one of their own here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Cole Monk, the extra hitter. Swing and a miss. And the count 0-1. So Pelly with the double again and advances to third on the error. Swing and a miss again in the count 0-2. That wind has a bit of a bite to it as well. And there's a called third strike for the second out of the inning. Monk goes down looking. That'll bring up the second baseman, Colby DeKoff.
At bat for the Dartmouth Arrows, number 55, Colby DeKoff.
There's a hard hit ball out to right center. Trying to cut it off was Eklund. And getting in with another double is DeKoff, driving home Pelly for the second run of the inning, and the Arrows now leading it 2-1. That'll bring up Eli James, the first baseman for the Arrows.
Now batting for Dartmouth, number 92, Eli James.
James steps in. First pitch swinging, and he'll send that one up into the netting. Foul on the first base side. That gets Coffin ahead in the count 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2. And Coffin is one strike away from getting out of this inning without any further damage. Good defensive swing there by James to reach out and get a piece of that ball on the outer corner. Fouls it off. A tough pitch to foul off, but he does so. Stays alive in the count 0-2. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. So Coffin does get 2 strikeouts in the inning, but he also gives up 2 runs on 2 hits. There were 3 errors, or 4 errors on the, according to the sheet here. And 1 runner left on base. We've played 1 complete inning, and the Dartmouth Arrows lead the Summerside Township Chevys by a score of 2-1. Due up in the top of the second, it'll be Caleb Gallant, Seth Bulger, and Griffin Ryan. Don't forget, you can make this broadcast interactive. Send me a message either through Facebook or Twitter. Facebook, search for the Petter Pictou Sports page. Of course, this game being broadcast on 360 Live, powered by Bell, but I'm Michael Petter, and the way that I can be found is through Petter Pictou Sports, Petter. Pictou, as in Pictou County, where I live, and sports, obviously. So search for Petter Pictou Sports on Facebook, or Petter PC Sports is the tag at the end of facebook.com/Petter PC Sports. On Twitter, the handle is pretty similar, Petter PC_sports. Or just again, search in the little search bar for Twitter, Petter Pictou Sports, and you'll find me. Send me a tweet. Let me know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. If you want to ask a question, send a shout out to a player, whatever the case may be. And we'll make this into a truly interactive broadcast. Caleb Gallant, the shortstop, steps in. That one fouled off the plate. And Pelly is ahead in the count, 0-1. Pelly, a long look in. Now he's ready. That one fouled off the opposite way, and the count goes to 0-2. We do know that the two semifinals will be at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock tomorrow. We know that the winner of this game will play Yarmouth. There's a called third strike. Second strikeout for Pelly. And that'll bring up Seth Bulger, the extra hitter for the Chevys. One of the semifinals is scheduled for 4 o'clock, the other for 7. We know that the winner of this game will play Yarmouth. The loser of this game will play Capital District from PEI. The one thing we don't know is which of those pairings will go at 4 o'clock and which of those pairings will go at 7. I'm sure somebody knows that information, but I have not been able to gather that information up as of yet. Bulger ahead in the count here, 2-0. But whichever the case is, we'll have both of those semis right here on 360 Live. There's a good strong throw across the diamond from Webb for the second out, and that'll bring up Griffin Ryan. 2 up, 2 down. Much like the Chevys started the top of the first inning, 2 up, 2 down before a walk and a double gave them their first run of the game. Can they get another 2-out rally going this time? There's a strike on the outside half, and the count goes to 0-1. The right-hander, Pelly, delivers the 0-1. That just misses the outside corner, and the count now 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 from Pelly. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Anytime your team has a good offensive inning, it's always incumbent upon the pitcher to try and have a quick inning so that you can keep that offensive momentum going. And Pelly trying to do just that. That one misses low. The count goes to 2-2. And here comes the 2-2 to Ryan. Little bit of an excuse me swing, and ends up getting a piece of the ball and sending it off foul the opposite way. And it'll remain 2-2. As we start to get some shadow here on Greeno Field. Swung on and missed. Third strikeout for Pelly, and a quick 3-up, 3-down inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the second with the score remaining 2-1 for the Arrows over the Summerside Chevys. 2 up for Dartmouth in the bottom of inning number 2. It's the 3 outfielders, Burgess, Saunchins, and Duquette. If anybody gets on, then it will be shortstop Jake Wombolt. As you can see there, the catcher is in shadow. The pitcher, the mound, kind of in, I guess you can call it striped shadow, as some of the trees just off the third base side, creating a little bit of almost a strobe light effect as that ball goes through sun and shadow on its way to the plate. And that's certainly going to create a challenging condition for some of these hitters over the next inning or two until the shadows work their way across and more of the infield ends up fully shaded. The good news for the hitters is that shadow is, or the sun is behind their backs as they're looking towards the pitcher. For left-handed hitters, such as Jacob Burgess, it is kind of coming into their side, but as they're looking towards the mound, the sun is to the side, not directly into their faces. There's a swing and a foul tip, and the count goes to 0-1. For right-handers, the sun is beating onto their backs, so really not an issue in and of itself directly. It's more, again, that strobe shadow effect that the ball goes through on its way in. That pitch misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. There you get a good look at how the shadows are playing across. 1-2 now the count as Burgess fouls off another one. We're just about to the point where I'll start turning on some lights here at Greeno Field. There's a grounder. Goes foul down the third base side. And we'll have another 1-2 pitch coming from Coffin here. That wind. There's another one. Fouled off. So Burgess doing a good job of fighting off some of these pitches here. Yet another foul. As the count remains 1-2 still, and we're about to get the 7th pitch of this at-bat as Burgess has fouled off 3 straight 1-2 pitches. That one misses high, and the count now goes to 2-2. Great battle going on here between Coffin and Burgess, leading off the bottom of the second inning. Swings through a pitch probably up out of the zone for the 3rd strikeout for Coffin and the first out of inning number 2. That'll bring up Carter Saunchins. Saunchins, the left fielder for the Arrows here tonight. First pitch to Saunchins misses high, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch on the outer half, and the count goes to 1-1. If you're just tuning in, 1 run in the top of the first for the Chevys, 2 runs in the bottom of the first for the Arrows. A quick 1-2-3 inning in the top of the second, and we play here at the bottom of the second with 1 away. Carter Sanchez behind in the count now, 1-2. He'll foul that one off, away into the trees. And much like the previous batter, Jacob Burgess, a 1-2 count leads to a foul ball. And now a 2-2 count, as that one misses just a little bit low. That one hit out towards left field, but it'll swing foul. And we're going to get another 7-pitch at bat here, as the Arrows batters are eating through the pitch count of Coffin, but Coffin catches Sanchez looking there, and that will be the 4th strikeout for Coffin. Back-to-back-to-back Ks, if you go back to the first inning. And that'll bring up Liam Duquette. Duquette playing center field in this one for the Arrows. Takes the first pitch, strike at the knees, and the count 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Catches the outside corner, and the count now 0-2. So Coffin using a fair number of pitches, but he's got these Arrows batters somewhat off balance. That one just misses, and the count now 1-2. Coffin gets himself set, delivers the 1-2, and surprise, surprise, a 1-2 pitch fouled off. Feel like I've said that a few times in this inning, because I have. So far we've had 5 1-2 pitches fouled off, a 2-2 pitch fouled off, as these Arrows continue to find ways to extend these at-bats. They do get struck out. This one's put in play, grounder to short. Gallant throws that one off target as McNeil not able to reach up and get it. And Duquette will reach on the error, and that'll bring up Jake Wombolt. Wombolt steps in with a runner on and 2 away. Coffin should have been out of the inning, but that's the 5th error committed behind him in this game. That one. And there, caught stealing is Duquette as he tried to avoid the tag by Gallant, but it was not to be. So 2-6 on the caught stealing. No runs, no hits, 1 error, but nobody left on base thanks to the caught stealing. And so we've played 2 complete. The Dartmouth Arrows still leading it 2-1. We'll head to the top of the 3rd, due up in the 3rd. For Summerside, it'll be McNeil, Coffin, and George Gallant. As Gallant threw to Gallant to get the 3rd out of the bottom of inning number 2. Again, don't forget, stick around for the home run derby coming up after this one. Scheduled for an 8 o'clock start, although we may get that going a little early depending on how quickly this game goes. We may, but then at the same time, if teams are off having a meal together or whatever and they don't get back here, we may end up sticking with that 8 o'clock start time regardless. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Particularly if, depending on how quickly this game ends, if the Chevys and the Arrows want to go and have a meal or something of the like prior to the home run derby. Whatever ends up happening, we'll bring you all the information and bring you all of the action here on 360 Live, powered by Bell.
Starting off for the Chevys,
Zach McNeil, the first baseman, steps in for his first plate appearance of the game and takes the first pitch strike as Pelly continues to deliver here. The tall right-hander throws another one through, and McNeil swings right through that one. It's quickly 0-2. The 0-2 pitch coming. That just misses. As a nice change of speed there by Pelly. And the count 1-2. And there's a called third strike. As McNeil is caught looking, fourth strikeout for Pelly. And that'll bring up Cale Coffin. As we get the second head-to-head meeting of our two pitchers. When Pelly was batting earlier, he had a double and ended up coming around to score. Now Pelly's turn on the mound for the head-to-head battle with Coffin as we play here in the top of the third. That pitch misses high, and the count goes to 1-1. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we will have the fifth place game between the two New Brunswick-based teams. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2. We'll have that game here on this field, while at the same time, playing over on field 2 will be the seventh place game between the two teams from Newfoundland, Labrador. We will not be able to broadcast that game as it will be played simultaneously to this one over at the other field. And there's a called third strike as Coffin is caught looking. Fifth strikeout for Pelly, and that'll bring us back around to the top of the order. George Gallant comes up. Gallant flew out to right his first time up, leading off the game just 36 minutes ago. This game moving at a pretty good clip. There's a strike on the inside corner, and the count 0-1. So Pelly has gone through the entire order once. And a walk and an RBI double. The only two Chevys to get on base. That was Eklund and Jones back in the first. Count 2-1 now on George Gallant, the catcher for the Chevys. And that one catches him right in the small of the back. And Gallant going to walk that one off, and pretty clearly no intent there. And I don't know why I feel the need to always point that out, but I do. When a pitcher ends up making contact with a batter with a pitch like that. That one just got away from Pelly, and Gallant will take first base. That'll bring up Tyson Wedge. He grounded out to short his first time up. And that throw down to first gets away from James, not far enough for Gallant to be able to take advantage of it, however. As the shadows lengthen here across Reno Field. Time gets called. And Eli James is going to get some sunglasses as that sun is right in his face there as he's at first base. And you can pretty safely bet that that was in a big part responsible for why that ball got away from him there. Runner going. Ball popped up into foul territory. And James able to make the catch for the third out of the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. One runner left on base after George Gallant was hit by the pitch. We've played 2.5, and the Arrows continue to lead it 2-1. Bottom of the third inning, it'll be the 10, 1, and 2 hitters for Dartmouth. Jake Wombolt will be back up to bat. He started his at-bat in the second, but Liam Duquette was caught stealing. And so Wombolt will be back up again, and then back around to the top of the order, Aiden Webb and Mitch Doucette. As Coffin continues, we'll see some changes for the Chevys here as Wedge moves from second base to shortstop. Caleb Gallant comes out of the game and is replaced by Tucker McDonald, who will play second base. And it looks like that's the only change for right now. McNeil still at first. Tyler Wood still at third. The outfield still Jones, Eklund, and Ryan. And the battery of George Gallant and Cale Coffin also remains intact. So just the middle infielders moving around. Caleb Gallant comes out. Tucker McDonald comes in. Wedge moves from second to short, and McDonald takes over at second base. And after that defensive realignment, we'll get the bottom of the third going. Jake Wombolt back up to bat, as he was to end the bottom of the second. Again, when Liam Duquette was caught stealing. Wombolt shows bunt, pulls the bat back as the pitch misses high, ball one. Here's the 1-0. A well-hit ball out to center field. It'll drop in for a single as Wombolt gets the leadoff hit for the Arrows. That'll flip the order over as well. Aiden Webb will be up for the second time. Webb grounded out to second his first time up.
Number 94, Aiden Webb.
So Webb up here with one on, nobody out. Bottom of inning number 3, looking to extend the Arrows' lead here. First pitch misses high, ball one. 1-0 the count here on Webb. Coffin looking over the shoulder to check on the runner. Delivers the pitch. And that one's lined right at Zach McNeil. And McNeil makes the catch, and then Wombolt was running on the pitch, so he had no way of being able to get back. He was doubled off easily. The fact that McNeil was pretty much right at first base when he made the catch made it all the easier. That'll bring up Mitch Doucette. Doucette swings through the first pitch. and the count 0-1. Doucette reached on an error his first time up, ended up coming around to score one of the 2 runs in that first inning. Both runs ended up being unearned. That one fouled off as Doucette was a little bit late with that swing. So the count now 0-2. Coffin gets ready for the 0-2 pitch. That one fouled off as well, and it'll remain 0-2. And time is called. And with that being pitch 45, in order for Coffin to be available for the medal game on Sunday, I think it looks like they will make a pitching change right there at pitch number 45. And coming in to take over on the mound, it will be Seth Bulger. He was the extra hitter in the lineup. He'll come in and take over on the mound, and I think it's just going to be a straight swap, extra hitter for pitcher. And here's, again, a prime example of the situation where I'd love to see a slight tweaking of the rules by Baseball Canada. Baseball Nova Scotia and a couple of other provinces have adopted this tweak where as the batter started, if the coaches had said this is going to be his last batter, he gets to pitch 45. We've got an 0-2 count right now. We're going to get the meeting at the mound. Then we get the changing of the pitcher. He gets to throw his 8 warm-up pitches, and we might get one pitch to end this inning, and we will have gone through all of this when Doucette could then, or when instead Bulger could come in and start fresh, and that one extra pitch, pitch number 46, really wouldn't have that big of an impact on the arm of Coffin. He should still be quite fine to be able to pitch on Sunday. As much as anything else, it impacts on the flow of the at-bat. We've got an 0-2 count, and in the middle of that 0-2 count, you've got a pitching change. So now the pitcher has to deal with a new, or the catcher, or the batter rather, has to deal with a new pitcher. The pitcher comes in, and there's one fouled off. And so the count remains 0-2. And that one will miss up and out of the zone, and the count goes to 1-2. And so the other part of it, too, is that the starting pitcher doesn't get a chance to finish off what he started, and it could have a big impact on how the game ends up playing out. Doucette may have ended up striking out if Coffin had been able to finish that at bat, but the pitching change happens. Doucette gets a single. Who knows what kind of 2-out rally may end up happening here. There's a strike, and the count goes to 0-1. That one misses high and inside, and the count goes to 1-1 as Doucette is at first base. And again, if let's say the Arrows do get a big rally here, that may not have happened if Coffin had been allowed to finish that batter. And that then ends up impacting on how this whole game plays out. You know, you can't say with any real certainty what if, what might have been, what could have been. That one fouled off, and the count now 2-2 as Pelly doubled and advanced to third on an error, came around to score on DeKoff's double. Sends that one out into shallow right or shallow center field, and it will drop in for a single. That puts runners at first and second, and Cole Monk will come up. Monk struck out his first time up. And here comes the Monk with a hard hit ball out to right field. That'll drop in. It gets past Ryan. One run will score. Pelly comes around. He will score. And so Monk with the 2 RBI single, and exactly what I talked about the possibility happening. We'll see a very, very different outcome to the rest of this third inning than we may have seen otherwise. And Colby DeKoff now steps in. He had an RBI double his first time up.
Number 55, Colby DeKoff.
And DeKoff ahead in the count here, 1-0, with the Arrows now leading it 4-1. That one over into left field. Coming across to make the catch is Jones for the third out, but not before a 2-out rally. 2 runs by the Arrows on a total of 4 hits. There were no errors there was 1 error, in that inning. And 1 runner left on base. We played 3 complete. And the Dartmouth Arrows lead the Summerside Township Chevys by a score of 4-1. Due up in the top of the 4th for the Chevys, it'll be Eklund, Jones, and Wood. And if anyone gets on, then Tucker McDonald will get his first at-bat of the game after coming in as a defensive replacement in the bottom of inning number 3. As Pelly gets ready for his 4th inning of work, Pelly looks like this is going to be his game to work as he's up into the 40s with his pitch count. If he gets to 46, of course, he would not be available for Sunday. So you would think that the Arrows are going to try and have Pelly go as long as possible so that they don't have to use any other pitchers for the rest of tonight, and they have the rest of their staff available for them for tomorrow's semifinal game and for the final, whether it be for bronze or gold on Sunday. First pitch Curveball in for a strike to Eklund. Eklund walked and came around to score what is so far the only Chevys run in this evening's game. Swing and a miss there, and the count goes 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes here on Eklund as Pelly gets Eklund to swing through that one. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Eklund goes down swinging. That'll bring up Owen Jones. He had an RBI double his first time up, driving in the only run of the game so far. And now, as we have talked about, the shadow is now pretty much encompassing the whole infield. That one, first pitch to Jones, misses down and out, and the count goes to 1-0. Top of the 4th inning, Summerside Township Chevys trail the Dartmouth Arrows by a score of 4-1. That one misses low, and the count now 2-0 on the Summerside left fielder. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one catches the zone right at the knees, and the count now 2-1. Good sinking fastball there from Pelly. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the count now 2-2. Pelly with 6 strikeouts through 3 1/3 innings. He's up into the 50s with his pitch count, so he will definitely get this game. There's back-to-back Ks, 7 strikeouts now for Pelly. And that'll bring up Tyler Wood. He is one of those 7 strikeout victims so far. And maybe as impressive as anything else, this is the 2nd time through the order, and he's got those back-to-back Ks. Down in the dirt with the first pitch. That misses low, ball 1. You often hear about how batters make adjustments with more times they see a pitcher. That one also misses low, 2-0. But Pelly, so far through the top part of this 2nd trip through the order, yes, he ended up hitting Gallant, George Gallant that is, with a pitch. But other than that, he has had these Summerside hitters off balance. 2-1 now the count as that pitch to Wood catches the strike zone. Gets Wood to chase one that was breaking out of the zone, and the count goes to 2-2. Really nice mix of fastballs and breaking balls and off-speed pitches, and good movement on those pitches from Pelly here. That one misses high and away, and the count 3-2. One run, 1 hit, 6 errors for the Summerside Township Chevys. 4 runs, 6 hits, and error-free ball played by the Arrows. And there's a called 3rd strike. Tyler Wood doesn't like it, but Jacardin Pelly strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We've played 3 1/2. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th, and it is 4-1 for the Dartmouth Arrows. Arrows will look to add to their lead with the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Eli James, Jacob Burgess, and Carter Sonchins. As we take a quick look around to see, and there is more defensive change for the Chevys. Coming in to play first base is Cohen Richard. as he takes over for Zach McNeil. If anyone out there who is watching can send me a message either through Facebook or through Twitter, if it is the anglicized or the francophone version of the name, Richard or Richard, or actually, yeah, the first name is Cohen, the last name is Richard, according to what we've got in the program. But according to what they have on GameStream, they have his name as Richard Cohen. So if you can also tell me which is the first name and which is the last name, that would be helpful as well, as we've got two different indicators of what's what. Either way, Eli James is leading things off here in the fourth inning. And James swings through the first pitch, the count 0-1. And looks like that's the only defensive change coming this time around. Actually, no, I stand corrected. Grayson Arsenault has come in to play right field, replacing Griffin Ryan. Another one fouled off. And the count 0-2. So Arsenault in to replace Ryan in right field. Richard in to replace McNeil at first base. Another one fouled off. The count still 0-2. As Eli James fouling off some tough pitches here from Bulger. After trying to work Bulger's pitch count up, time gets called. Now everybody will reset and we'll get the 0-2 pitch again. Here comes the 0-2. That one fouled off. Way up high. And out of play. As James continues to battle here with Bulger. James able to stay alive, fighting off these pitches. Now a sweeping curveball. Catches James looking. First strikeout for Bulger after coming in relief. Fifth strikeout overall for Summerside pitching. That'll bring up Jacob Burgess.
Number 59, Jake Burgess.
Burgess, one of those 5 strikeout victims overall, one of the 4 strikeout victims of the starting pitcher Coffin, but not this time as Burgess lines a single out to left field. So he improves to 1 for 2 on the game, and that'll bring up Carter Sanchez. He also struck out his first time up.
At bat to the Arrows, number 49, Carter Sanchez.
Sanchez steps in with 1 on, 1 out here in the fourth. Bulger gets himself set and delivers. A strike at the knees and the count 0-1. 4-1 the scoreline in favor of the Dartmouth Arrows here, the host team at this tournament, and as they have proven throughout this tournament, they walked in through the front door and they show that they are one of the strongest 13U teams in Atlantic Canada. Count 1-1 now on Sanchez. That one fouled off and the count goes to 1-2. Not taking anything away from this Chevys team, but the 6 errors that they have committed, the Arrows have taken full advantage. And that's what the most elite teams do. They will pounce on other teams' mistakes when they get a chance. There's a looping curve ball, but that misses high, and the count goes to 2-2. We've had some very high-quality baseball played at this tournament so far. That one sent into the air in left field. Back to make the catch is Jones. A well-hit ball into deep left field, but Jones able to have enough room to make the catch. That'll bring up Liam Duquette. He reached on an error his first time up. Ended up getting caught stealing.
At bat for the Arrows, number 29, Liam Duquette.
So Duquette steps in here with 1 on and 2 away. And the first pitch to Duquette misses high, ball 1. Bulger gets himself set. Behind in the count now, 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That one's in for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Burgess at first, 2 away. Here in the bottom of inning number 4. Bulger delivers, runner going, and Gallant had a little bit of trouble there on the transfer, so made the probably wise decision to just eat it, and Burgess gets in with the stolen base. So another runner in scoring position for the Arrows. Bulger steps off the mound, draws Burgess back to the bag. Duquette gets himself set back in with the count 2-1. Sends that one out to right field. It drops in, and coming home to score is Burgess as he was hustling the whole way. So an RBI single for Duquette makes it 5-1, and that'll bring up Jake Wombolt. Wombolt singled his first time up. He was doubled off on a line drive right at the first baseman at the time, Zach McNeil. And McNeil caught the ball as he took a step off the bag from holding Wombolt on, and then had to take the one step back onto the bag. One of the easiest double plays that you'll see. This time Wombolt pops it into foul territory. Getting over and making the catch is Gallant for the third out of the inning, but the Arrows strike again. They get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. Through 4 complete innings, the Dartmouth Arrows lead the Summerside Township Chevys by a score of 5-1.
Summerside Chevys, 1.
Due up in the top of the 5th, it'll be Tucker McDonald, Seth Bulger, and Grayson Arsenault. And again, we'll take a quick look around the field to see if there are any defensive changes. The biggest spot, of course, is Jacarden Pelly. He's still out there. Has about 30 pitches left to work with for the rest of this game. Used 55 pitches through the first 4 innings. So you work that out, that's an average of a little under 14 pitches per inning, and if he's got 30 left, he's got about 2 innings left in him. So if they can get him through 6, and then only have to use 1 more pitcher for a 7th, that would be a big plus for the Arrows. Again, wanting to have all of their pitching available to them, except, of course, for Pelly. This is going to be his last appearance But if they can have all of their other options available heading into the semis and whichever medal game they end up playing on Sunday, that would. And Tucker McDonald gets his first plate appearance of this game after coming in as a defensive replacement. Fouls the first pitch back, and the count goes to 0-1. McDonald, the left-hander, stands in. And here we see really the one of the most interesting aspects of this particular age group. You've got Tucker McDonald standing in at the plate and almost as tall as him at the plate, or behind the plate, is the catcher Doucette in his crouch. And that's just one of those challenges of games at this age group. You've got players who have gone through a significant growth spurt and players who have not necessarily had that growth spurt yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but it just means it hasn't quite happened as of yet. That one misses high, and that is ball 4. So Tucker McDonald earns himself a walk. That'll bring up Seth Bulger. So a leadoff walk for the Chevys. See if they can take advantage of it here. Bulger stepping in, trying to help out his own cause as he is the current Chevy pitcher. Grounds that one down the third base line and just fair. McDonald has to stop at second, however, as Sonchins gets over quickly to cut that ball off. So a walk and a single, and there's 2 on with nobody out. And that'll bring up Grayson Arsenault for his first plate appearance of the evening. Arsenault stepping in. With McDonald at first, McDonald at second, Bulger at first. And the Chevys threatening to close the gap here in the top of the 5th inning. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. The interesting thing about the current score line, if it does hold, we'll have 4 games tomorrow, 3 of them here on 360 Live, and all 4 games on the schedule will pit the teams from the same province against each other. The 7th place game will feature the 2 teams from Newfoundland. The 5th place game will feature the 2 teams from New Brunswick. And if this result holds, the 2 Nova Scotia teams will play one semifinal, and the 2 Prince Edward Island teams will play the other. That one misses outside, and the count now 2-1 on Arsenault. Of course, that depends on this result holding, and the Chevys are certainly threatening to do something about that here in the top of the 5th. Ball 3, it's now 3-1, and we'll get a meeting at the mound here to try and settle Pelly down a little bit, as he's still got about 20 pitches left to work with, 25 pitches left to work with, somewhere thereabouts. Or 16 pitches left to work with, my apologies. So this meeting just to calm him down and try and get him settled. 3-1 the count here as Arsenault steps back in. Runners on first and second. Still nobody out here in the top of the fifth inning. And that pitch catches the bottom of the zone, and the count runs full, 3-2. It's always a telling thing about not only the pitcher but about the coach, how they respond immediately after a visit. If the pitcher can get himself settled down and get a good pitch thrown right after a mound visit, there's ball 4. So the pitch right after was a strike, but the pitch right after that missed the zone, and the bases are now loaded for Cohen Richard, or is it Richard Cohen? And now we get the announcement saying it's Cohen Richard. The program says it's Cohen Richard. The game stream says it's Richard Cohen. I'm going to go with Cohen Richard as more of the inputs that I'm seeing are giving me that name. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-1. But again, if it should be pronounced with the more francophone pronunciation, and it should be Richard, by all means, if someone watching lets me know. That ball squirts through to set, but not far enough away for McDonald or Bulger or Arsenault to try and make a move. The count goes to 2-1 on Richard. And again, if I am mispronouncing it, I want it to be clear that I am not doing so with any intent of offense. I will gladly take correction if it is warranted. Cohen Richard, the first baseman, his first plate appearance of the game. He's in it with a 2-2 count. That one misses just a little bit inside, and the count runs full. Now here's a question. With a full count and the bases loaded, do you start the runners although there's nobody out? We'll wait and see what ends up happening. The runners are not started, and it is ball 4. A run is walked in. Richard gets an RBI for walking in the second run of the game for the Chevys, and that'll bring up Cale Coffin. Coffin struck out his first time up. The starting pitcher for the Chevys, now extra hitter, comes up with the bases still loaded, nobody out, and that pitch bounced in, coming in about 46 feet, as the mound is about 48 feet from home plate. That one bounced in about 2 feet short. 70-foot base paths, 48 feet the distance from the mound to home plate. There's a grounder. That will get knocked down by DeKoff, but he can't get a handle on it. He was able to knock it down and keep it in the infield, but not able to get a throwaway. We'll see how they score that one. And the score of the game is now 5-3. The base is still loaded and still no one out with the top of the order. George Gallant coming up. And we'll wait for... There's another one that comes in high and inside, and Gallant was caught in the lower back last time, and they are going to rule that an error on DeKoff. So Gallant was hit by a pitch his last time up, comes close to getting hit by one this time. A little bit of an excuse me swing there, and it's fouled off. The count goes to 1-1. Gallant flew out to right his first time up, hit by that pitch in the third. Comes up here with bases loaded, still no one out, and 2 runs already in here in the top of the 5th inning. That one sent foul as Gallant a little bit behind on that swing. And the count now 1-2. Tyson Wedge in the on-deck circle waiting for his chance. Pelly with a long look in, gets himself set. That one misses low, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Pelly with just 2 pitches left, so we will get a new pitcher soon here for the Arrows, and as you look, you get the feeling that those 84 pitches as George Gallant a little bit frustrated with that called third strike. And that is the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Tyson Wedge. He's 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, popped out in the third. Comes up here with the bases still loaded and now 1 away. And just looking at the scoring on that error by DeKoff, when Coffin grounded it to DeKoff, he will still get an RBI on the play, as if an out had been recorded at first base, the run would have still counted. There's a swing and a miss by Wedge, so it is an RBI for Coffin. Wedge behind in the count now, 0-1. A balk has been called, and so a run will come in on the balk. Arsenault comes in to score. It's now 5-4. Richard advances to third. Coffin goes to second. And Wedge will be the final batter faced by Pelly, as he has reached his daily maximum. He's allowed to finish this batter, but that will do it. Time now gets called as the Arrow infield moves in to try to cut down a run at home, with the margin now just a single run. There's a strike, and the count 0-2 here on Wedge. 1 away, runners on second and third. And Pelly trying to end his evening on a positive note. There's a foul tip. Ends up catching Doucette. And the Brotherhood of the Mask, as it's known, the umpire goes out to hand Pelly the ball to give Doucette a chance to get himself squared away after taking that foul tip. And I, again, will clearly say I have no issue with that kind of thing whatsoever. Swing through by Wedge there, and that's now the 10th strikeout for Pelly, and that will do it for Pelly as he's reached his maximum. 4 2/3 innings of 4-run ball. On just 2 hits. He walked a few, walked 1, 2, 3, 4, but struck out 10 in that 4 2/3 innings. A very, very good performance by Pelly. And Pelly looks like he will head out to the outfield. And coming into the game is Brandon White. White will take over on the mound. It appears Liam Duquette is... No, it's Jacob Burgess is going to come out of the game. So Burgess comes out of the game. Brandon White will come in his spot in the banding order. As we try to catch these changes here. We can tell you this much. Brandon White will be the new pitcher, and Jacob Burgess has come out of right field. So White will take Burgess's spot in the batting order. That's the seventh spot. And just trying to get squared away on where everyone else is now situated. Looks like the infield is staying the same. Webb, Wombolt, Dakoff, and James. And in the outfield, it's still Sanchez in left. Looks like Pelly has taken center field, and Duquette has moved from center to right. So again, Brandon White, the new pitcher. Duquette moves from pitcher to center field. Pelly moves from pitcher to center field. Duquette moves from center to right. And right fielder Jacob Burgess comes out of the game. As the score is 5-4 here in the top of the fifth inning, 2 away. And the 4 runs given up by Pelly, he is still responsible for the runners on second and third. This a big hold situation for White if he can finish off this inning without letting either of those 2 runners come in.
At bat for the Summerside Chevys, number 51, Cole Eklund.
And Cole Eklund, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored, will be the first batter faced by White. First pitch from White misses outside, ball 1. As White delivers with that almost all the way to sidearm delivery. Little bit lower than 3/4, but not quite all the way full sidearm. Really leads with the elbow, I find. That one misses outside. And the count now 3-0. Three balls, no strikes. There is a base open to put Eklund, as first base is unoccupied. There's a strike and the count 3-1. The left-hander, Eklund, the center fielder, standing in, getting ready to receive the 3-1 pitch. Time gets called as Doucette hadn't even gotten a sign from the bench yet to deliver a sign to White. Now they're ready. Everything squared away. And that pitch misses outside, ball 4. The walk will reload the bases and bring up Owen Jones. Jones RBI double in the first. Struck out in the fourth. Comes up here with a chance to possibly tie up this game or give the Chevys the lead for the first time since it was 1-0 back in the first. That pitch misses low, ball 1. As with the sun setting and the lights coming on here at Greeno Field, A chill definitely getting into the air. That one fouled back, and the count goes to 1-1. This game certainly living up to the hype. We were expecting that this would be a close, hard-fought battle, and that certainly has been the case here. Swing and a miss. Big cut taken there by Jones. And the count 1-2. White gets himself set, and here comes the 1-2. That misses outside, and it's 2-2. Deuce is wild with 2-2 the count, 2 out. Bases loaded. Grounder down to DeKoff. He'll throw it over to James to end the damage. But the Summerside Township Chevys get 3 runs back, and they need just 1 hit to do it. 1 error as well. 2 left on base. And the big damage in that inning was a grand total of 4 walks committed by Arrow pitching. And we'll head to the bottom of the 5th. The Arrows still do hold the lead, but it's not nearly as comfortable as it was a couple of innings ago. It's now 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the 5th, and it's the top of the order due up for the Arrows. Aiden Webb, Mitch Doucette, and Jacardin Pelly. As we just take a look around to see if there are any other defensive changes for the Chevys, it looks like everything is still the same as it was from the previous inning. And so Webb will lead things off here. He grounded out in the 1st, lined into a double play in the 3rd. And will come up here to lead off inning number 5, the bottom of inning number 5. 4, 2, and 6. Not a typical line certainly for the Chevys, but they do have 4 runs on 2 hits and have committed 6 errors. 5, 8, and 1 the line for the Dartmouth Arrows. First pitch swinging. It gets through Wood and out into left field. A wide turn of first there by Webb, but he will hold, and we'll wait to see how that gets scored. Mitch Doucette will step in. He reached on an error and scored in the 1st, singled and scored in the 3rd. Comes up here with 1 on and nobody out in the 5th. And it is an error on Wood. The 7th error by Chevy fielders in this ball game. Time gets called. Not sure what the issue was, but there was a previous foul ball that was in the field of play, not in the field, but in foul territory where it could have caused a disruption. That one skied high just behind home plate. Gallant able to make the catch for the 1st out. That'll bring up Jacardin Pelly. Pelly reached or doubled, advanced on an error, and then came around to score in the 1st, singled and came around to score in the 3rd. So he is 2 for 2 with a single and a double.
At bat for the Arrows, number 81, Jacardin Pelly.
Pelly started to offer at the first pitch, held up. Pitch called a strike anyway. Or perhaps the bat did get through. It looked to me from this angle like he might have held up. There's a hard hit ball, but foul. And the count goes to 0-2 on Pelly. Pelly pitched 4 2/3 innings, giving up 4 runs on 2 hits. But as it currently stands, he would be the winning pitcher and has a chance to help out his own cause here to try and generate some offense to give that score some insurance. He'll send that ball out into right field. It nearly ends up hitting Webb. Webb will go around a third, reach safely, and Pelly heads up base running, advances to second on the throw to third. So Webb gets around a third on the single, and Pelly gets the single and advances to second on the throw. That'll bring up Mark Cole. And I think we're going to get a discussion now about whether that ball actually did hit Aiden Webb or not, as it was very close. And of course, a batted ball that hits a base runner before being touched by any fielder, that base runner would be out. And I think we're going to get a quick discussion here between the umpires to make sure they get the call right. I'll say right here, I won't argue with the umpires either way, as it was very hard to tell from this angle. It looked very, very close. But the conversation that the umpires have, they go over and they talk to the Chevy coach, and they say, nope, the ball did not touch him. So
Now batting for the Dartmouth Arrows, number 28, Cole Monk.
So Cole Monk steps in. He fouls the first pitch off, and the count goes to 0-1. And I'll say this, the umpires, they talked it over. They agreed on the initial call, and they went and they talked to the official or to the coach who made the inquiry. I got nothing but respect for that, absolutely. That one fouled back, and it's 0-2. Runners on second and third, 2 away here in this, or 1 away here, in this 1-run ball game as we play the bottom of the 5th inning. Arrows trying to gain a little bit of insurance. That one softly hit and doubling off on the line drive, on the loop line. The ball caught on a nice play there by McDonald. Gets the throw over to Wedge to double off Pelly. And that will do it for the top of the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We've played 5 complete. The Dartmouth Arrows lead the Summerside Township Chevys by a score of 5-4. Due up for the Chevys in the top of the 6th. It'll be Wood, McDonald, and Bulger. And if anyone gets on, then it'll be Arsenault to follow. Very well played there by the Summerside infield as McDonald made the catch, stayed with that ball, the looping line drive, and then the toss over to Tyson Wedge, who got to the bag ahead of Jacquardin Pelly. Couldn't draw it up much better from a Summerside perspective. Bit of bad luck if you're looking at it from a Dartmouth perspective, as that ball was hit right at the second baseman, and breaking on contact but breaking the wrong way was Jacquardin Pelly. I think he thought that ball was either going to bounce in front of McDonald or it was going to get through. It did neither. And so now we'll head to the top of the 6th inning of a 1-run ball game. The Chevys scored 1 in the top of the first. The Arrows put 2 up in the bottom of the first to take the lead. 2 more in the bottom of the third to make it 4-1. Another one in the fourth, making it 5-1. And then 3 runs in the top of the fifth made it 5-4, which is where we stand here going into the 6th inning. Tyler Wood leading off. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts caught looking both times. But for Wood, the good news is that both of those were when Pelly was still pitching. Perhaps he'll have some different luck here with White on the mound. First pitch misses low, ball 1. White, of course, hoping to continue the success that Pelly had against Wood so far this evening. That one misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-0. Tucker McDonald in the on-deck circle. Seth Bolger also due up here in this inning. White sends that one down the left field line. Saunchin's not able to cut it off, and hustling all the way in with the double is Wood. A leadoff double puts the potential tying run at second base. And Tucker McDonald will step in. He walked and scored in the 5th. And we're going to get a meeting at the mound here, and I think we're going to see a pitching change. And I think we're going to see a rotation of positions for a few different players. Is Colby DeKoff will move from second base to pitcher. White will move from pitcher to third base. And Webb will move from third base to second, I believe, is how it'll all break down. I think it's just those 3 players rotating. DeKoff comes to the mound. Webb goes to second. And White goes to third. So those 3 players rotate through those 3 positions, I'm pretty sure. And Colby DeKoff, I think, needs to get a different size hat. Following through on every one of there's one where the hat doesn't come down over his eyes as he follows through on his pitch. First few pitches he threw to warm up there threw him so hard that his hat came right down over his eyes. And so DeKoff comes in here in a key situation, the potential tying run, standing at second base. And McDonald waiting to come up here with nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. Tucker McDonald walked and scored his only other plate appearance. That came just last inning, as 9 of the 10 batters for the Chevys came to the mound or came to the plate in that inning. And just confirming that it is indeed a 3-player switch. DeKoff goes from second to the mound. Webb goes from third to second. And White goes from the mound to third. And the first pitch to Tucker McDonald misses, and the count 1-0. DeKoff delivers, and that one fouled off, and DeKoff is still having trouble with that hat. After every pitch, he's readjusting that hat because on his follow-through of his pitches, the hat comes down over his eyes a little ways. There's a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. I don't know if I'm imagining things or if I'm actually seeing him have that hat come down over the eyes. There's a swing and a miss and strike 3, and so that'll be the first out of the inning. I don't know if it's coming all the way over his eyes, but he's certainly readjusting that hat after every pitch. That'll bring up Seth Bulger. He grounded out in the second, singled and came around to score in the fifth, one of the 3 runs in that inning. That pitch just misses and the count 1-0. Takoff, ready. Bulger swings through and the count goes to 1-1. That one grounded down to third. White has a little bit of trouble, can't handle it, and Bulger will reach on the fielding error by White. Wood stays at second base as it wasn't a force play on him, so he'll stay right there. That'll bring up Grayson Arsenault. He walked and scored his first time up. And the potential tying run still at second base. Now the potential lead run at first with 1 away. That pitch sails all the way to the backstop, and both runners will advance. So the tying run now just 70 feet away, and the potential lead run now 140 feet. And Arsenault ahead in the count. Takoff gets himself set, and he's ready to deliver the 1-0. That one catches Arsenault swinging and missing, and the count goes to 1-1. Here comes the 1-1. That one misses, and it's 2-1. Two balls, one strike on the right fielder, Grayson Arsenault. That one misses, and the count now 3-1. Cohen Richard in the on-deck circle. As Takoff gets ready to deliver the 3-1 pitch, that one in for a strike, and it's now 3-2. Full count, 1 away. Payoff pitch coming from Takoff. In on the outside corner for strike 3, catches Arsenault looking for out number 2. That'll bring up Cohen Richard. Richard walked, which drove in a run in the 5th, got all the way around to third before the inning came to an end. Has a chance to drive in some more runs here with runners on second and third and 2 away. First pitch in for a strike. Time gets called. And after a little bit of housekeeping of home plate, we will get things reset and ready to continue. The 0-1 fouled off, and the count goes to 0-2. And another ball is sacrificed to the god of the woods. Greeno Field here surrounded by woods on all sides, except for out the right field fence where there is a second diamond off that way, but then there's woods just beyond that second diamond. That pitch misses low, and the count 1-2. I'd love to get the chance to ask Dukoff about that hat, because it seems like, I know I'm kind of fixating, but it really does seem like it's a factor, but can't be that big of a factor as he catches Richard looking. So a double and an error put 2 runners on with 1 away, but then back-to-back strikeouts by White, or sorry, by Dukoff, rather. And they strike out the side, so no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th with the Arrows looking to add some insurance. It's 5-4 due up for the Arrows. The pitcher, Colby Dukoff, the first baseman, Eli James, and the previous pitcher, now third baseman, Brandon White. Quick look around at the Chevys, and it appears that they're sticking with the status quo defensively. Again, a quick scan. It is still Jones, Eklund, and Arsenault around the outfield. Wood, Wedge, McDonald, and Richard around the infield. Gallant behind the plate, and Bulger continuing to work out there on the mound. Again, a quick reminder here as we near the end of this game. We're in the bottom of the 7th, or bottom of the 6th. We still have the 7th inning to go, and after this game, we will have the home run derby scheduled for an 8 o'clock start. Might take a few minutes to get things set up for that home run derby, but that is the current plan. First pitch to Dukoff, misses outside. Dukoff with an RBI double in the first, flew out to left in the third. Leads off here in the bottom of the 6th. That one misses, and the count 2-0. Bulger set and delivers. There's a strike, and the count goes to 2-1. There's another one that just misses, and the count goes to 3-1. Again, the winner of this game will play Yarmouth in one of the semifinals tomorrow. There's a line shot through the right side of the infield for a leadoff single. And that'll bring up Eli James. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Struck out swinging his first time up. Struck out looking second time. That was to lead off the 4th. He ended the first, led off the 4th. Now comes up with 1 on and nobody out here in the 6th. The winner of this game plays Yarmouth in one semifinal. The loser of this game plays Capital District from PEI, the Charlottetown area-based team, in the other semifinal. Check out the baseball.ca website. Go to the championships link and then go to U13 Atlantics to see the breakdown of tomorrow's matchups. That one misses high and tight, and the count goes to 1-2. Dukoff at first. The potential insurance run for the Arrows. That one Misses inside as well, and it's now 2-2. Two balls, two strikes on the first baseman for the Dartmouth Arrows. The 2-2 pitch. Pulled foul as James got a little bit too far ahead of that one. It'll remain 2-2. That one misses inside and the count runs full. And the purple sunset off in the distance, making quite the backdrop for this game. Runner going with the full count. James fouls it back. And we'll do it all over again. As the lights here at Greeno Field doing their job to create the picture. There's a cue off the end of the bat right down to Richard. Dukoff was running with the pitch, so he gets to second on the play. So Eli James moves the runner ahead, and that'll bring up Brandon White, his first plate appearance after coming in the switch in the bottom of the, or top of the fifth inning. We play now in the bottom of the sixth. And we get White's first plate appearance of this game. That pitch misses low, ball one. Again, we have the home run derby still to come later tonight after the conclusion of this game. Balk was called, and so Dukoff will advance to third base, and the insurance run now just 70 feet from scoring. The count remains 1-0. White swings through that one, and it's now 1-1. First game tomorrow will be at 1 o'clock. We'll have the fifth place game between the two New Brunswick teams, the Fredericton Royals and the Port City Pirates. That game will be here on Field 1 at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Also at 1 o'clock tomorrow over on Field 2 that will not be broadcast is the game between the two New Brunswick teams. There, the Chevys trade the out for the run as they get the second out, but White gets the RBI, a big RBI, as Dukoff comes in to score on the ground out to Wedge. It's now 6-4, and that'll bring up Carter Saunchins. Oh, we're going to get a pinch hitter for Saunchins. Ryan Ferguson comes in. So Ferguson gets his first plate appearance of the game, as the left-hander stands in with nobody on and two away, swings through, and the count 0-2. Looking ahead to the top of the seventh, it'll be Coffin, George Gallant, and Wedge due up for the Chevys. That one out to right field for a single. And Ferguson gets on base. That'll bring up Duquette. Liam Duquette reached on an error in the second and then was caught stealing. And an RBI single in the fourth. Again, the winner of this game plays Yarmouth in one semifinal. The loser of this game plays Capital District from the Charlottetown area in the other semi. Runner going and getting in safely is Ferguson with a big jump. Gets the steal. The pitch to Duquette was called a strike, and so the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch sent out to center field. Getting over and making the catch is Eklund for the third out. But the Arrows get an all-important insurance run. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We head to the top of the 7th. The Chevys need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. And it'll be up to Cale Coffin, George Gallant, and Tyson Wedge. And if anybody gets on, then Eklund will keep the inning going. And trying to close the door, it will be Colby DeKoff. Came in to finish the top of the 6th. And now looking for the 2-inning save. If this result holds, Pelly would get the win. The loss would be tagged to Cale Coffin. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The loss would be tagged to Seth Bulger. And so, DeKoff looking to finish off the 2-inning save here. He'll have 10, 1, and 2. Coffin, Gallant, and Wedge to deal with. Coffin leading off. Cale Coffin struck out in the 3rd, reached on an error, drove in a run in the 5th. So 0 for 2 with an RBI. Steps in for the Chevys. First pitch at the top of the 7th inning. Called first strike. And DeKoff is ahead in the count. Stick around for that home run derby. That pitch misses. The count goes to 1-1. Should be a lot of fun. One batter from each team gets a chance to try and hit some balls out of Greeno Field. And there's a ball that gets through. It may have caught a piece of Webb. He tried to get on it. Great effort. But it gets through, and a leadoff single brings the potential tying run to the plate in the form of George Gallant. Gallant 0 for 2, flew out in the 1st, struck out in the 5th, sandwiched around a hit by pitch in the 3rd. So Gallant with representing the potential tying run. In safely with the steal is Coffin, as they called, or as he gets just the 4th hit of the, Coffin got just the 4th hit of the game for the Chevys. 4 runs, 4 hits, 7 errors committed by the Chevys. 6 runs on 11 hits for the Arrows. They committed 2 errors out in the field. There's a called strike, and the count on Gallant goes to 0-2. Potential tying run stands at the plate right now. Coffin at second, nobody out. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Doucette, and Coffin will get in safely. The ball gets away, or Gallant rather gets in safely. The ball gets away, and Gallant will come all the way around to third, and the potential tying run stands 70 feet away from home plate after a strikeout and a pass ball sends Gallant all the way around the diamond to third base, and it's now 6-5. And we'll get a chat out at the mound. The coach wants everybody in to talk about it. The potential tying run, third base. Still nobody out here, top of the seventh. Tyson Wedge, 0 for 3 on the day, but has a chance to erase all of that with a big hit here. Wedge, the now potential lead run. We've seen one game go all the way to the need for a walk-off in the bottom of the seventh. That involving the other two teams from this same province back on opening day as Capital District walked off Yarmouth. The difference being this time the Nova Scotia team is the home team, and depending on what happens here, they might go into the bottom of the seventh needing to. That ball's going to get away from Doucette, and coming in to score the tying run is Gallant. We're all even. 6-6 now the scoreline, and the bases are empty for Tyson Wedge. As that ball took a big bounce off the shin pad of Doucette, way over towards the Chevys dugout, and Gallant comes in to score the tying run. Wedge couldn't hold up on that one, and the count now goes to 1-1. As you might as well hit reset on this whole game. We're all tied up, the bases are empty, and there's nobody out. Time asked for and received by Wedge. As we play here in the top of the seventh and final inning, he says with a question in his voice. That's the one thing we have not had yet in this tournament. We have yet to have a game go extra innings. Of course, now that I've said that, I don't believe in the broadcaster's curse. There's no such thing. That one gets over the head of James. Wedge in with the single. And the potential lead run for the Chevys is on base with Cole Eklund due up. Eklund walked and scored in the first, struck out in the fourth, walked again in the fifth. So 0 for 1 with a pair of walks and a run for the left-handed hitting center fielder. A big chance here for Eklund. Takes one just low, ball one. Time called as Doucette wants to go and have a chat with Dukoff. And the meeting of the battery mates is over. We're about set to resume here. Tie ball game, top of inning number 7. Arrows 6, Chevys 6. That one misses inside, and the count is 2-0. One in the first, 3 in the fifth, 2 here in the seventh to give the 6 runs for the Chevys. Swing and a miss, the count 2-1. 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the sixth for the Arrows for their 6 runs. And we're going to see a pitching change here, as that was pitch number 30. So in order for, and this probably was not in the plans for how they wanted things to play out, they being the Arrow coaching staff, and we're going to see a bunch of players move around here as Saunchins, who was pinch hit for last inning, will re-enter the game and take over on the mound. So Saunchins re-enters and becomes the pitcher. DeKoff goes back to second base, I believe. Webb, who had started at third, then went to second, now goes to short, I think. Meanwhile, an Arrow outfielder has left the field of play. And we'll wait for them to update it on Game Stream, all of the movement, before we break it all down for you. The one thing I can tell you for sure is that is Carter Saunchins on the mound. And it's still Doucette behind the plate. That much we know. As for the rest of it, we'll let them get it all organized. White is going to go, or White is still at third. Wombolt was at short. I think he's moving. No, Wombolt is still at short. Webb, who was at third, then to second, now is back to third. DeKoff, who was at second, then pitching, is now back at second. Yes. Saunchins is on the mound. Webb is at third. Wombolt at short. DeKoff at second. James still at first. Pelly still in center. Duquette still in right. And Wombolt, I believe, is out in left field. There's a strike as Saunchins is facing Eklund here, and the count goes to 2-2 because Saunchins comes in with the count 2-1. And so it is now 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. The ball gets away. And because there was a runner on first base, the batter is out. The runner can advance to second on the pass ball, but Eklund cannot take first on that pass ball. So now there's a runner on second base with one away, and Owen Jones comes up. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI double, a strikeout, and a groundout. And the potential lead run standing at second base for him to possibly get his second RBI of the game. That ball gets away, and then a throw down to third, and getting in under the tag safely is Wedge. So now the potential lead run just 70 feet away, as Doucette has had a few balls bounce away from him here in this top of the 7th inning. Infield is going to move in to try and keep this a tie ball game, try to cut down any runs at the plate. That one's going to bounce away as well, as could just hear Doucette turn to his bullpen and just a few feet away from us, so I heard him clear as day. Just said, I can't see the ball. That one comes right in. And the count to Jones now 2-1. With one away and the potential lead run standing at third base. That one will get through the drawn-in infield. The Chevys will take the lead. And it is now 7-6. A big RBI single for Owen Jones. His second RBI of the game gives the Chevys the lead. And time is called as Doucette is going to head to the dugout for a moment and make an equipment adjustment. Actually, I think we're going to see a change of catcher as Doucette trying to quickly get that gear off. So we're going to see more defensive realignment. Doucette was just having a little too much trouble seeing the ball there. All right, as we take a look around, Doucette will take second base, it appears. So Webb is at third. Wombolt, here we go. Webb is at third. DeKoff is at short. And this is why I fill out my book in pencil. Webb is at third. Doucette is now at second. Pelly is still in center field. Monk is still the extra hitter. DeKoff is at short. James is still at first. There's a ball to Wood, and Wood is ahead in the count 1-0. Wood 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and a double. Runner going, throw down to second, not in time, as Jones gets in with the steal. White is in left. Ferguson left the game as Sanchez re-entered, and he's pitching. Duquette is in right, and Wombolt now is the catcher. There we go, got that sorted out. Meanwhile, the count on Wood is ball 4. So the walk puts another potential insurance run on. 2 on now for Tucker McDonald. McDonald walked in the 5th, came around to score, struck out in the 6th after he came in as a defensive replacement back in the 3rd. With the Chevys now leading at 7-6. That one off the end of the bat. Fair territory down the left field line. Coming in to score all the way from second is Jones. Wood will stop at second. And McDonald gets the RBI single to extend the lead. It's now 8-6. 4 runs here in the top of the 7th inning have turned a 2-run deficit into a 2-run lead. That'll bring up Seth Bulger. Bulger first pitch swinging and fouls that one off. Still just 1 away. And we're going to get time called again. As this the third stoppage we've had here in this half inning. 1 for a pitching change, 1 for a catcher change, and 1 now for a meeting at the mound. And it's these sorts of things that turn what has been a well-paced game into now we're hitting 2 hours and almost 20 minutes gone, and we still are going to have to play the bottom of the 7th after we got through the first 3 innings in about 50 minutes. As we're 10 minutes away from the scheduled start of the home run derby, obviously we're not going to get that going on time. There's a grounder down to short, flip to second for one, over to first, in time. The 6-4-3 double play will end the inning. Dukoff to Doucette to James. But the Summerside Township Chevys put 4 runs on the board. They get those 4 runs through 4 hits. There was 1 error and 1 runner left on base. We head to the bottom of the 7th with the Arrows now needing 2 to force extras, 3 to get the walk-off win. And it'll be up to Wombolt, Webb, and Doucette, the 10, 1, and 2 hitters, the exact spot that we started the order in the top of the 7th for the Chevys. And now Seth Bulger stands to be the winner, and he's out there to try to finish the victory. And again, a quick look around just to make sure. And the defense is aligned as it has been for the last several innings. Wombolt, Webb, Doucette for the Arrows. If this score holds, we'll have a pair of PEI versus Nova Scotia semifinals. And depending on how things break out, we could have all PEI and all Nova Scotia on Sunday in the bronze and gold medal either way. Or we could have another set of PEI versus Nova Scotias. There's a called first pitch strike on Wombolt. Wombolt singled in the 3rd, popped out in the 4th, and leads off here in the 7th, trying to bring the Arrows back even. Lays down the bunt, but it spins foul, and the count goes to 0-2. The Summerside Township Chevys, comfortable victories. Well, a very comfortable victory in their first game, winning 16-1 over. That pitch misses outside, and it's 2-1, or 1-2, excuse me. Or excuse me, a 10-0 victory in their first game over St. John's. Peel down to third. He did not go, says the third base umpire. A 13-7 victory in their game against Port City, or against that one way up high in the air into the third base side dugout of the Arrows, and the count will remain 2-2. So again, for Summerside, a 10-0 win over St. John's, a 13-7 win over Port Cities, although that game was tied at 7 going into the bottom of the 6th, and the Chevys put up 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th to get that victory. And now here a very close, hard-fought game against Dartmouth. For the Arrows, that one a looping ball right into the mid of McDonald for the first out. For the Arrows, they started with an 8-3 win over Port Cities. or Port City. Followed that up with an 11-1 win over St. John's. So they have played they've played a close game.
Number 94, Aiden Webb.
Here's Webb. Webb grounded out, lined out, and reached on an error. So 0 for 3 on the game. Comes up with the bases empty and 1 away here in the 7th. An excuse me swing fouls it off. And the count goes to 0-2. Bulger came on with 2 away in the 3rd. Has thrown 3 2/3 innings. That pitch misses inside, 1-2. He's given up 4 runs in that 3 2/3 innings, but right now stands to be the winner if he can hold on. Grounded down right to the first baseman. Richard just picks up the ball and steps on the bag. And the Arrows are down to their last out. Mitch Doucette reached on an error in the 1st, came around to score. Singled in the 3rd, came around to score. Popped out in the 5th, and now bats here as the last chance for the Arrows in the 7th.
22, Mitch Doucette.
First pitch to Doucette, misses low, ball 1. If Doucette can get on, then it'll be Pelly as the potential tying run. Doucette, the slow roller down the first base line. A bit of confusion as to who was going to take the ball. And Doucette does get on, and Pelly will step in as the potential tying run. Reached on doubled in the 1st and came around to score. Singled in the 3rd, came around to score. Singled in the 5th, 3 for 3. And we're going to get a pinch runner for Doucette, as coming in to run will be A.J. Rogers. So Rogers comes in as the pinch runner. And Pelly, the potential tying run, comes to the plate with 2 away. Rogers standing at first base. His run is important in the sense that they need him to get in. But the run that is of the most significance right now is the player standing at home plate, Jacardin Pelly. First pitch, Pelly skies it in the air just in front of home plate. Making the catch is Bulger, and the Chevys get the victory. 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning for the comeback win. It'll be Chevys versus Gateways in one semifinal, and it will be Arrows versus Islanders in the other. Those 2 semifinals at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock tomorrow. As soon as we know which one is which, we'll tell you. We'll stick around for the handshakes and the presentation of the players of the game, and then we'll immediately get you ready for the start of the home run derby, the final once again. The Summerside Chevys with a thrilling 8-6 victory over the Dartmouth Arrows. The 2 PEI teams finished first in each pool. The 2 Nova Scotia teams finished second in each pool. The 2 New Brunswick teams finished third in each pool. The 2 Newfoundland and Labrador teams finished fourth in each pool. How's that for consistency? Both pools end with the nicely laid out one team 3-0, one team 2-1, one team 1-2, one team 0-3. No worrying about tiebreakers or mathematical formulas or anything else.
For the Summerside Chevys, number 44, Seth Bulger.
And Seth Bulger, who pitched the last 4 1/3 innings to get the victory, is the player of the game for the Chevys. Well deserved for him. Great performance on the mound.
Player of the game, number 81, Jacardin Pelly.
And for the Arrows, Jacardin Pelly, who started the game on the mound through 4 2/3. 4 2/3 innings. And when he left, it was his game to win. But the bullpen could not hold on. So those are your players of the game. Pelly for the Arrows. Bulger for the Chevys. That will do it for this one. The final score once again. Summerside Township Chevys defeat the Dartmouth Arrows 8-6. We'll be back soon for the presentation of the Home Run Derby. Until then, this is Michael Petter saying, may your pitches hit the corners, may your liners hit the gaps. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with you very soon.